So yeah, here's my magical script. So I'm going here selecting all of the individual melody notes and then triggering my create events and markers from clips. Name the prefix that I want. And then here you go, it's created loads of destination markers with the prefix that I want for every the start of every clip. And you see that it's also created individual events for all of these that contain the individual event sounds. So why am I doing this? Well, because I'm going to use these destination markers to create callbacks to Unity so that as the music plays and it passes these destination markers, that sends a message back to the FMOD system. So setting up these destination markers is really important because then I can decide when and where the callbacks happen. So just jumping into Visual Studio, here's the event callback structure. And you see here, I've got 3 different types of callbacks that I've set up. We've got it when it started, when it hits a timeline marker, and when it stopped. But the most important thing here is the timeline marker. So what this does is it grabs the structure from the timeline marker properties and then creates it into its own little class called timeline info, which I then down here extrapolate into various other information. So first off, I'm making a custom class called a FMOD timeline marker class. This is a class that I've made myself in order to help me manage the order and type of the sounds that are coming in from FMOD. And here I'm extracting information from the name to create a plant index number, which chooses between 9 plant positions and sizes based on the type and length of the sound. I'm also passing the position of the marker in here to get this to get the accuracy of playback. So I can use the position to calculate the difference between where the player has actually hit relative to the point that the marker is on the track. So it means that I can get a pretty precise accuracy reading to the millisecond, and it means that we know when it's early as well as late. The markers basically get added to a list of markers, which I then use to create a path to a specific event, which matches the event that's naming in the FMOD system here, the ones that were all created. So once it's created that path, it then creates an instance of that and then holds that in memory. So to trigger, I just simply call start on the event and increment a count to whenever the event is triggered or missed. So in Unity, I'm exposing a lot of these things out into the inspector so that we can change things depending on the level. And I keep it all in a prefab, which means that it's easy to transfer as more levels are added with their own different music. And just upstairs here, we can see the individual game events that are being triggered off that relate to the gameplay property. And those things can be added by the programming team individually without having to jump in my code and decipher it. So it's useful for them as well. So yeah, is this a success? I'd say in one way, yeah, because it means that the sound designers can set up and change the timings and the order of all of these individual clips pretty easily without having to make hundreds of individual events. But with this system, the other members of the audio team have total control about when to play which things, and they can edit it in this DAW type-like timeline rather than on a spreadsheet or something. So yeah, thanks for checking out this breakdown of what I did for the Global Game Jam. If you want to hear a bit more about my work, visit my portfolio at javiervelastin.com/gameaudio.